Hello everyone and welcome to Great Tech Today. I'm Will and today I have for you the ASRock AB350 Fatal1ty Gaming-ITX AC motherboard. It's a nice little motherboard on the for the Ryzen platform. It's on the B350 chipset and it's pretty much the exact same motherboard as the X370 version. There was a problem early on with these boards. Not a problem, but it was a bit of a problem. Under this this heatsink here, covering the VRM, was a very thick thermal pad, which provided absolutely no benefit whatsoever. Actually, probably hurt performance. They fixed that, and so now the heat, the thermal pad is actually is actually the right size. So again, this board it can cover Ryzen 1 and Ryzen 2, and the upcoming Ryzen 3 it will also be able to handle it. This is the AM4 socket. As you can see, it has two DIMM RAMs, or two DIMM slots for two RAM sticks, a single PCIe by 16 slot. These are still reinforced slots. On the I/O ports, the old PS2 I/O port, and what they call a Fatal1ty mouse port, we have two HDMI ports, which these will only work if you have one of the processors that have the built-in graphics controller, so an APU from AMD, so the Ryzen 3 2200G or the 2400G, I believe. A USB 3 Type C port, Gen 1. Intel Gigabit LAN. The standard USB ports. These are all 3.0, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then you have, obviously, the built-in sound capabilities, and then here you have the two wireless ports for the wireless card on this board. Here it has the DigiPower 8-power phase design premium choke with dual MOSFETs, the AMD AM4 socket, which is going to support the Bristol Ridge and Summit Ridge, and then the upcoming new Ryzen processors when they come out. And then you have four SATA 3 6 gigabit ports, and then on the back of the board you have the M.2 PCIe Gen 3 by 4 and SATA 3, so it supports both. So all in all, pretty good board. The things about it that, well, an 8-pin CPU power connector, your normal 24-pin, USB 3.0. A couple things about it. There's no Cmos battery. Actually, there is. It's right here. I'm sorry. But we have RGB headers up here for the AMD fans specifically that will cover the, if you have the Wraith Spire cooler, or not the Wraith Spire, but the AMD Spire, whichever one, I can't remember which one it is right off the top of my head. The red and black color. One of the biggest things about this board that a lot of people probably will not like, you only have two chassis fan headers. One's here and the other is down here. So a lot of people won't like that simply because it doesn't give you a lot of support for fans. However, this is meant to go into an ITX case, so not a lot of support for fans there. How do I feel about this board? It's a good board. I've had it for a year now, and it has done me well. The biggest thing I will say about it is recently it just stopped working. So it's been in my system, like I said, for a year, a little over a year. Actually, not even a year. It would be a year in April. But it just quit working on me the other day. I turned my system off, like I normally do, left it overnight. Went to work the next day, came back from work, turned it back on, and it no longer worked. So I contacted ASRock. They're going to allow me to RMA it. We'll see how that process works, and once I figure out how the process works and go through the process, I will update everyone and let you know how smooth and how well the process went. But all in all, for a mini ITX board, I think it's probably the best ITX board on the market at this time. As far as the B350s go, I'd like to get my hands on one of the newer ones, the X470 or the B450, and potentially the ones coming out. I don't know if they're going to be X570 and B550 or whatever. They haven't really put that out yet. So, but I'd like to get my hands on those boards and see how well they work. Overclocking on this board isn't too bad either. You should be able to support at least a 6 core processor on this without any issues. I was able to overclock to 3.9 4.0 with a Ryzen 5 2600 with an Noctua NH9LA AM4 variant, which is the super low profile cooler. Very quiet and kept the processor really cool under load. I think I hit maybe max 88, 89C at 4.0 gigahertz under some of my stress testing. The RAM, again, this board, there's not a lot on the QVL that this board supports for the cheaper RAM, so you have to go for the more expensive RAM. However, I will say this. I've used G-Skill's Trident Z 3200 megahertz RAM on this board, and it picked up fine on the XMP and ran fine with no issues, no stability issues. And then also just had some ADATA XPG1, DG1 I believe, 3000 megahertz RAM in it, and it works perfect too, right out of the box. XMP profile clicked in perfectly. And ran fine. So all in all, it's a good board, solid board, and especially for the price. When I bought it, it was $89, and I had a $10 rebate I never used, so got it for about $80. But you can get it now. I think it's back up to $100. I would just, if it were me, I would go for the newer B450 board, as it's only around $120. You may get a little more performance out of it. But I don't know. Again, they're probably the same board in all honesty. So there's the ASRock AB350 Gaming-ITX Fatality motherboard in 10 minutes or less, as our goal here is to make tech videos and give you the information in 10 minutes or less. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like it, please leave a like below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.